Okay, next question. Anthony Sicarella says, or actually, he's making a statement. Hi, Anthony. He says, the Buffalo family that Sammy's talking about is Joe Todaro Sr. and Joe Todaro Jr.
Yes.
Joe Sr. passed away in December of 2012, but Joe Jr. is still alive.
Still alive.
Yeah.
I think I should go collect. If he hears this interview, tell him, yeah, I could use a pair of shoes and a pair of pants. I'll take a pair of jeans and we'll be even. But he was a good guy. They were good guys.
Aaron Adams says, how often did Mafia members fight?
First of all, there's a rule against fighting, raising your hands to another made guy. It's a death penalty. It did happen but it was very rare. A made guy would not. I almost lost my life for banging around Louis DeBono. I didn't even punch him. I was banging him around a little bit. But you're really not supposed to raise your hands. And if a made guy raises his hands to you, here's the rule. You could fight back. If you win the fight, kill him. As long as he raises his hands first. So, they're pretty, into that rule. So if you start a fight with somebody, 99% of the times you're going to die.
Dave in Pittsburgh wants to know, he said, Sammy, was John a gambler? And which wise guy was pretty lucky and won often?
I don't know anybody who wins often. But John was a degenerate gambler. He would bet on 2 cockroaches running up a wall. And I've seen him bet hundreds of thousands he would lose. One time I got called in and he said, Sammy, you sitting with some money? I would sit with money, and when it got to a certain amount, I would tell him, send your brother to pick it up, and I would send it in. I said, yeah, I'm sitting with about 100, 100 and a quarter. Good, send it down to me now, because I got somebody who wants a Shylock loan. But I found out from guys he had lost $350,000 and didn't have enough to pay the bookmakers. So he's asking me to bring the money in. He never gave it. I don't think he ever gave a Shylock loan out. But he was a degenerate gambler. He'll bet on anything. Now, let me get back to that question. When he said, that he was a gambler.
He said degenerate.
I said degenerate gambler. Yeah, he was. Yeah. One time he saw my sister. And he says, I'll bet you she's a redhead. I said, I'll bet any money that she's got brown hair and her hair is dyed. What do you want to bet? It was my sister. I know what color hair she had and that she dyed it. So I didn't bet him, but I told him, you even want to bet on that, bro? Don't you think I know what my sister's hair is?
All right, Miller on TikTok. Was it wrong for someone to go to court and testify without telling another person beforehand, even if they were innocent?
You can't testify. You can't cooperate. That's called ratting. You can't, whether you're going against a cop, another guy. Once you do that, you're cooperating. And there's no cooperation with law enforcement whatsoever. I could see you have an argument with your sister, if you had a sister, and you stabbed her. And if the cops came, I would say, I don't know who stabbed her. I have no idea, even though I watched you. You can't cooperate. You can't talk to them. You're not even supposed to talk to them, give them, you could say hello and goodbye. They come and they try to question you. You could say something, but nothing pertaining to the life. You could never admit that you're a made guy in the Mafia. That's ratting. And you can't talk to them about the life, our life. So you could talk to the guy, the cop stops you for a ticket. You could talk to him about the ticket, but you can't talk about the life.
All right, next question from Anon on TikTok. When the Godfather movie came out, how did that affect the Mafia life?
Well, I think it affected it in a positive way. Here's how it affected me. I loved that movie, The Godfather, because it betrayed what Italian people are aside from the mafia. How we went to weddings and how we, you know, hung out and did certain things. I mean, it was a perfect example of the life. How not only that there was mob killings and everything like that, but there was a family life. They showed that. So they talked about family, they talked about murders, they talked about everything. And it was a good example of the mafia. And I like that picture a lot.
All right. Tulo on TikTok says, Sammy, what do you think is the best business move, trash or construction?
Construction. Trash is pretty steady. You get a route, you're getting paid all the time. But construction, you could do, there's a lot of money. Projects are huge, millions of dollars, especially not talking about houses. I'm talking about, buildings. You're talking about buildings of $58 million, $40 million. And somewhere, if you're fitting into that mix, construction has got a lot more money.
Richard on TikTok would like to know, were there any wise guys that ever got a tattoo that said their family's name?
Any what?
Wise guys that got a tattoo that said the family name?
No, I don't think so. I never saw it.
John on TikTok, Sammy, do you still carry some heat on you while you're out and about?
When you say heat, I think you're talking about a gun. Is that if that's what you're talking? If that, yeah, heat is a gun. Do I carry a gun? No. But be careful, my friend does.
BP Roller on TikTok, did anyone in the mob ever visit you when you went to jail?
Yes, I had visits when I went to jail. It depends on what prison I was in. And when you really go into a prison, you got to get them approved, and it's hard to get them approved in regular places. But when I was in MCC, I got a lot of visits. Big Louie, Huck. There was a bunch of guys who came and visit me. And then you're in prison. You always with guys who are in prison with you. There's always mob guys in prison. So you're hanging out with them. So it's good. The visits are reserved more for families, your personal family, wives, daughters, kids, sons.
Bobby V. If DeChico didn't die, would he have killed John?
We had that pack. Frankie told me, let John be the boss. I'll be his underboss. You'll be a captain. We'll be the power behind the throne. He says, Sammy, if he don't act the right way, we'll kill him. I'll take over and you'll be my underboss. Because I was trying to convince him to take the lead and be the boss. But I shook his hand if that's what he wanted. I shook his hand, and that's the way it was. We made John the boss. We were the power behind the throne, especially Frankie. And I became a captain right away. And then in a short time later, I became the consigliere of the family. And then the underboss.
Cobra Boz in the super chat. Hey, Boz. Was Castellano going to kill Gotti?
Oh, absolutely. He should have moved on it a lot quicker than he did. I worry about John and his crew, even though it was a tough crew. But he didn't realize that he was putting other crews, like my crew, Frankie Chico's crew, Joe Piney's crew. A lot of crews were getting together to back John. That he didn't realize that.
I have Jay Mylan in the chat. Hey, Sammy, great Monday night TV from UK. Do you think Chin and Gaspipe didn't miss Gotti and did mean to hit Frankie with the car bomb because they knew Gotti would end up in jail?
No, the guy, Frankie Hartz, who was hit with that bomb too, it blew his toes off his feet. They thought it was Frankie and John. Now, if that guy didn't ask for a lawyer's card, Frankie, didn't go out there with him to get him a card, it would have been me and Frankie. Because we knew John was down in Manhattan. We were in Brooklyn meeting other guys and stuff, and we were going to go. My car was parked around 2 blocks away. And me and him were going to get in his car and go. I would have been sitting where he was sitting, and he would have been behind the steering wheel, and we would have both of them killed.
Billy McGill says, how often did a soldier interact with a boss or underboss?
Well, they're in the family. They'll, they say hello all the time. They're interact, but they don't hang out with a boss or an underboss. But they're around all the time. They're in the same family. Just because a guy is in a higher rank, it doesn't mean that I could be with a guy who's just a made guy. And I walk in, I'm the underboss. Hey, Sammy, how you doing? Hey, bro. Sometimes I'm playing cards with him. It doesn't matter. We're family. It matters that you have certain rank and certain respect for those things.
Living It Up in the super chat wants to know if you ever met or worked with Frank Lucas.
No, I know who he is. Black guy. He was in the Black Mafia, major drug dealer, tough guy. I knew of him, but I never met him or worked with him.
Ilyas Glessner, is it possible for a made guy to switch to another family?
Almost impossible. Once you know our secrets, we don't want to let you go. When you're in the family and you're made and above a captain or underboss or gonzier, you know the secrets of the family. How they think, you don't want to let that go. That stays where it belongs.
Al Star wants to know if you've had any trips to Canada or ever been to Canada.
I was to Canada 2-3 times, mostly on vacation.
Francisco in the chat wants to know how well you got along with Frankie's dad.
Who?
DeChico.
Frankie's dad? I got along with him great. He was in the same crew I was in. He was with Tato Arello, made guy, and I was with Tato Arello. We were super close, and I was super close with his son before he got made. And I remember the first time he got made in 1975 when the books opened. And Boozy, his father, Boozy, came over. He said, Sammy, my son just got made. I said, oh, wow, let's go congratulate him. We went and congratulated him. I wasn't made yet. I'm not supposed to have that information or talk, but I was close with Boozy. And then I got made. And Boozy was a great guy, a good guy.
All right, question from TikTok. This is from Jimmy. Did Chin and Gaspipe ever have any disputes?
I doubt it. Not that I know of, but I doubt it. Chin was a very powerful guy. Gaspipe was a tough guy, but not on Chin's level. He would never fuck with Chin. Really, not too many people would. I wouldn't either. He's a super tough guy. I liked him. But, he was not a person you want to play with or fuck with or anything like that. It was dangerous.
Reading on TikTok would like to know, how good of a getaway driver were you?
I was pretty good. To tell you the truth. I actually drove a race car. I was driving race cars and stuff like that. I did a couple of, laps around, a couple of races I was in. Small races, but I did that. I know how to zoom in and out of the cars.
Now. Yeah. Guys, check out that YouTube video. He flies in that car.
And the girls are laughing because I drive fast now. There used to be a girl, Peanuts, who worked for me. She was a tiny little thing, cute as a button. And we're driving in the car, and we're coming up on a trailer. You know those trailers where they have the thing where they take cars onto it? So she tightens up and she says, Sammy, you're going to crash into this thing. So I said, no, I'm not. I said, here, watch. It's a trick. I'm going to hit the gas and I'm going to hit the back of that thing. We're going to go flying up in the air right over this and land on the other side. She says, you can't do that. I hit the gas a little bit. I was clowning with her. I hit the gas. She started screaming, please, Sammy, no. So, remember her, Gerard? She was cute as a button. Tough little cookie, too.
That's awesome. Next question from TikTok. Beatrice, did you ever meet Anthony Center in real life? And if so, what was he like?
I met him in real life. Tough guy, quiet to himself type of guy. He was with the Roy DeMeo crew. He was one of the twins. Very dangerous guy. And, but like I said, he was quiet mostly. And he was a good guy. I got along with him. I never hung out with DeMeo or his crew. So when I went there, it was for a reason, a message or whatever. I would say hello to people and whatever. So I really never had a lot of exposure. I never went out drinking with him, hanging with him. But when I dealt with him, he was a pretty good guy.
Next question from TikTok. This is from Main Life. How powerful was the Patriarcha crime family in Rhode Island?
Well, in Rhode Island, they were very powerful. They were the bomb.
Ton on TikTok would like to know, how did Stymie get his name?
You know, I never knew how he got his name. When I met him, somebody brought him to me. He had an argument with McIntosh, one of Carmine Persico's top hit guys. They both pulled guns on each other. I didn't know him. He stayed in Doc's Bar. He owned Doc's Bar. And somebody said, Sammy, this kid Stymie's a really tough guy, good guy. What do you think is going to happen? I said, they pull guns. He pulled a gun on Mac? Yeah, and they pulled guns. They laughed it off. I said, Mac, don't laugh that off. And I went down to talk to Mac. And first of all, I met Stymie. I liked him. And then I went down and talked to Mac. And I said, Mac, I understand you were in Doc's Bar place. Yeah, there was a kid there. You argued. He took out a gun. You took out a gun. You know, and you were laughing. I know it wasn't funny to you. You're going to hurt this kid, right? He said, Sammy, you know better. Of course I am. I says, he's with me. I was already made. And I said, please, Mac, do me a favor. Give me, I'm not going to do nothing. No, give me your word. I know you're a man of your word, bro. Give me your fucking word. Don't let me go back and tell the kid, don't worry about it. And I wind up dead. Don't do that. You might as well kill me. Sammy, I'll never do that. I give you my word. That's how he wound up being with me. And I met him as Stymie. I don't know how. His name was Joey D'Angelo, his real name. I don't know how he got that name. I never dug in and tried to find out.
Mama on TikTok says, I just watched your documentary, The Last Gangster on Hulu. It was an amazing watch.
Thank you.
Do you want to open up one of your Christmas presents?
A Christmas present?
Yeah, it's December 1st.
There's a lot of paper here. The fuck? Is it alive?
No.
Oh, a cannoli. All I saw was eyes looking at me.
Sparkly cannoli for your tree.
Oh, wow. How nice. And when I was looking, all I see was eyes. I said, what the fuck is that?
I said only Sterling would know how to get a sparkly cannoli.
It was the only one. I was just walking through the aisle and I was like,
Thank you so much.
It's cute.
Is it real?
I wish.
Oh, you would. Thank you. Thank you, girls.
Wolf Capital says, first time catching a live stream. This was fun.
Thank you, Will. So we're here every Monday live, and we talk and we just play games and whatever. Well, I mean, a live cannoli staring me in the face.
Oh my God. Okay. Shiner Man says, who were the main guys in Frankie's crew?
Oh, there was a lot of guys in his crew. I don't want to mention all of them, but there was a lot of guys, and they were all tough guys. Joe Sist, There was one guy, Joe says, that they got along, but he had a lot of guys. And you got to remember, the Chico family, like his father was a made guy, his uncle was a made guy, one of his other uncles, Butteress, was a street guy. He never got made. I don't know what the fuck reason was, but there was a lot of guys in just this immediate family, sons, cousins, nephews. I mean, the Chico family was just the family alone were tough guys, and his Uncle Georgie became a captain. So they had a whole family. It's a little different, like me. I didn't have nobody in the life. Nobody. So I didn't have a brother or my father, or no, my father was a legitimate guy. And it's a little more difficult. So he had a lot of guys. Plus he was a tough guy. Legitimately. And a good guy. So he was very, very well respected. Very well.
This is the last question before we resume next week. Clayton Upton wants to know, why didn't the commission hit Joe Bonanno?
Why didn't they hit him?
Yeah.
They were going to hit him. I'll give you a little story. At one time, he had made a book. They were going to use the book in a case, the commission case, and this and that. I was sitting in Paul's house. He took me in the backyard, and he says, listen, Sammy, this Joe Bonanno, we threw him out of New York. He's in Arizona. He lives. He had a cattle farm, cotton farm, strip club or two. He says, I'm going to send you down to take him out. I said, okay, I just need a little instructions. I don't even know where Arizona is. We talked. We went back in the house, we talked. And he said, you know what I just told you? I said, yes, Paul, as soon as I leave, I'll start working. He said, no, forget it. Bonanno's, it's their responsibility. Why should we do anything? Let them take care of this problem. So they must have been talking about killing him, because Paul was a boss. He must have been talking with the heads there. He wrote a book after he was chased, him and his son. His son was named Salvatore Bonanno. And they didn't like the son at all. Matter of fact, they shot him while he was in New York. Joe Bonanno was on the lam, came back into a commission meeting. In the commission meeting, they told him, listen, we won't whack your son or you. Leave. And he left. He went to Arizona. Now, they weren't going to bother him at all, but he wrote a book, The Last Don. I forgot the name of the book, or Honor Thy Father, or something like that. I read the book years ago. And they got pissed off about writing a book about it. That's making an admission. Remember when I said you can never admit there's a mafia? And he admitted there was a mafia, that he was a boss. He probably felt he was out of the life. But they didn't feel that way. And especially that he was a boss. So they were contemplating killing him, but they never did, him or his son. And they left him there in Arizona. When I got out of prison and I went to Arizona with my family, and I'd cooperated. And Joe Bonanno wanted to talk to me when he heard I was coming down there. He was caught talking to his son and another guy on a tape. One guy, not his son, but the other guy was wired. And he was trying to make arrangements to come and meet with me, or me go to him. And the son told him, what do you want to talk with him for? He's a fucking rat. And he says, you never want to learn. His lifestyle is he comes down here, if he wants to take over Arizona, guys are going to wind up in a trunk. Maybe us. So I want to talk to him. Somebody came down and told me that he wanted to talk to me. And I was on parole. And I said, yeah, I'll meet with him, the old man. if he wants to meet with me, on my turf. I'm not going to meet him. I'll tell him where to go, and I'll meet him. In what place, what restaurant, what place we'll meet in. And the guy told me, he says, Sammy, all right, I could give him that message, but all he wants to know is that you and him are not going to have a problem. I said, you're going to try to take over Arizona. I said, no, I'm not going to try to take over Arizona. I can give a shit about Arizona. And you could give him my word. Then we don't need a meeting. And he says, all right. And he left. And he told Joe Bonanno. And Joe Bonanno sent me back a message, okay, great. I love the relationship now we have. And if anybody gives you a problem here in Arizona, let me know. And I said, thank you. A day later, I got a call from the feds. And it told me, Sammy, were you going to meet with Joe Bonanno? And I said, yeah. Why? They said, you're on parole, you can't do that. I said, he wanted to just say hello. So that's all it was going to be, but we're not going to meet. Then I said, listen, let me ask you a question. How do you know I was going to meet with him? It happened so fast. He said, one of the guys at the table was a cooperator, got in touch with the FBI in Arizona, and they called us in New York because they were handling me to people in New York. And then I sent him back another message. Tell Joe that whoever's sitting at that table, one guy was wired. They knew we were going to have a meeting. Now, obviously it wasn't his son, it was the other guy. I don't think he did anything, but maybe he didn't bother with the guy no more. For whatever. So, Joe Bonanno was a pretty cool guy, I think, for doing what he did, saying what he was saying. I don't think he was looking to hurt me or nothing. But I had no, meet me down in Tucson. Fuck that, I ain't going there. If you want to come down, you come down and meet me in the bar or the restaurant I tell you to, and I'm prepared.
Okay, real quick, boss. Everybody make sure, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe. Don't forget to take advantage of the sale that's on the merch shop tonight. Tonight is the last night. Any merchandise that needs to go internationally, all of the international fans, please reach out to support@sammythebull.com. And I will price it out for you and let you know, because for whatever reason, we can't do it online through the shop.
Tell them about the cards, because I get phone calls about the cards.
What about the cards? They have to, everything's in the shop. If you guys want the
Oh,
cards,
it's
you
in the
got,
shop.
yeah.
Does the order go to you? 'Cause
Yeah, I get all the
I get
orders.
calls. So go to the shop if you want to order the card. You keep sending messages to me. I don't control that. So if you just go to the shop, then she gets it.
Yeah, I get all the orders, guys. And please, please, please be patient. I literally just sent out God knows how many orders, and I'm going through the rest of the batch right now. So just please be patient. They are being sent out, and you should get it in the next week or so. You ready to take us out?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I couldn't hear it. All right, guys. I'm going to do my normal sign off. Adios, motherfuckers.